I will die on that hill.
I absolutely love Miley Cyrus.
You have failed this.
Love this show.
The sickest night ever.
Is this?
What are we doing?
No. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Call Guys podcast. I'm Gunner, also known as Chico Noise, 3-time podcast host, side hustle videographer, and yes, TikTok made me buy it. A Circle water bottle. Have you ever seen this?
No, I have no idea. I have no idea what you're talking about.
So this is a Circle water bottle. And
Okay.
they're all over TikTok right now.
Okay.
And it's got a filter in it, right? But the filter adds flavor to the water, and you can change it and adjust the actual like amount of flavoring. So it goes from 0 to 10. So 0 is normal water, and then 10 is like blasted with flavor. And it's actually pretty good. It's like a Mio, but better. So
Okay, so let me get this straight. That water bottle can serve the purpose of regular water or flavored water, correct?
all through the same filter, yeah.
Okay. So at what point in time do you decide I don't want flavor water, I want regular water?
Right now.
So then at any moment's notice, you can get a different sip of water and or flavored water.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty sweet. Not gonna lie. I like to sit about 6. A nice little flavoring in there. You know? And it's mixed berry, so it's got a good flavor. It's like a
A Propel?
yeah. It's pretty much a Propel, like a great Propel.
Why don't you just get a Propel?
Because this is like this little filter.
I'm confused.
This little filter does like 16 bottles. And it's like the same price as a Propel. Actually, it's right. I've never bought the actual filters. I've just got these. I got it for Sarah, and then I think I've drank out of it more than she does. So.
Oh my gosh.
But it's really good.
I'm not sold. I'll be honest. I'm just not sold.
Well, I'll make you try it, and you'll be sold. You'll be
Okay.
sold. TikTok made me buy it, and that's a huge thing on TikTok. TikTok made me buy it.
TikTok, man. I don't have to see. I don't do the TikTok, so I have a life.
I send you TikToks all the time, and you watch
I know
them.
I know you do.
The other part of that intro is side hustle videographer, and I wanted to hit on this because next week's episode we're doing the Disney episode.
Yes.
And I'm going to talk about all of the fun stuff we did in Disney. And if you look at my background, you can see my Captain America ears. We went to Universal today. I got Lupin's wand right in between them. And then Sarah's mini ears. And then Miss Minutes is peeping over my shoulder there. And then also my lightsaber that I built, which I forgot to turn on at the intro.
Yeah, you did. Good job.
Crap. I already ruined it.
Ruined. It's ruined.
It's done ruined. So yeah, we'll talk about Disney next week. And I did shoot video the entire time I was there. So I think what
Nice.
the episode is going to be, I'm going to edit that video. And then Colt and I are just going to skip through and watch it and talk about everything in the video.
I'm excited to kind of see what's changed because I think I was 13 when I went the last time I went, so I know there's been a bunch that's changed. So just to kind of see that, I think I'm more excited. I think I'm most excited to kind of see the stuff that I do remember and the new stuff that's there. So I'm kind of excited to watch. And is it just going to be us going over this recap?
I think so, unless I can manage to get ourselves a special guest on the episode. It's a possibility. I've not spoke to this person about it yet, but we'll see. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it'll happen. It might be a Disney expert at this point.
Whoa.
Self-proclaimed.
That's great.
That's
great.
I love shooting videos. I will have a little snippet of Lucas and I doing a lightsaber battle in there. Been doing videos for a long time and went to school for it. So it's kind of nice to get out and just mess around and do stuff like that. So it'll be a fun episode to do. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. I'm excited to watch it. I have seen the lightsaber battle.
Mm-hmm.
I am here for the critique, so as you know, so I am excited to sit down with you, the the creator of it and go behind the scenes of the shots that were taken.
Yeah. It was one of those things. It just was like, you listened to Chiefs Fans this past week where I came. Did you listen to it? Where I came on when I was sitting at the pool at the hotel and Dad or the Emperor says like, are you gonna fight with those lightsabers? And I said, we're filming a battle tonight or something. And that's the night we did it. And it took us half hour. I had the shots. I was like, this is what I want. This is what we're going to do. And put it together, edited it on my phone. It's amazing.
You're too talented, man. You're too
Amazing
talented not to be making this a thing. You got to be making this a thing, brother.
Hey, I edit videos 2 times a week. And some days I just don't want to do it. Some days
they don't pay the bills though, bro.
I know, that's right. They don't. So yeah, you guys will get to see what I saw and let me know if you think that Disney is the happiest place on earth. Because I'm still kind of like on the fence for the happiest place on earth. I had fun, but Ooh. I wasn't happy the whole time.
Shots fired.
Shots fired, Disney.
I love your plus though.
Yeah. Dude, that was hilarious.
I listened to that and I just bursted out laughing.
Yeah. Me too. I was like, dude, that is hilarious. When he said that, I freaking died. So good. Off the cuff, good. Just like out of nowhere. I'm like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, it was so casual too, and I was like, man, that's smooth.
That is smooth. Speaking of all the other podcasts and kind of what's going on with us here in the future, I was telling Colton beforehand, I did talk to Conrad John a little bit more, and he is excited and ready, and we'll be doing that episode. We'll be recording it here in a couple weeks. It'll come out mid-September, so be excited for that. Be pumped up. I think that's going to be a fun interview to do. And also, after this episode airs, 2 days, She-Hulk will be out on Disney Plus, and we will have another show to watch, another Marvel show. The quantity is they just keep pumping them out. So I'm kind of excited for it. I think it's going to be a complete 180 from everything they've done so far in this phase. So I think it's going to be more of a I don't even know what to call it. I really don't even know what to call it. I guess a sitcom almost. Not WandaVision type, but like modern day sitcom. So we'll see. And then the last thing I have is that Colton and I have been going over the schedule. We've been looking at it. We've been looking at it thoroughly. We've been planning episodes. We've been getting different guests on the list. Colton just mentioned another person that wants to come on and hang out with us and talk some crap about him. And so on this schedule, we have the holiday season coming up. We'll have Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. So I'm going to throw this one out to all the listeners out there.
Ooh.
Colton and I don't really have ideas for these episodes yet. We just know we want to theme them for Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. So email thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you want us to talk about for those holiday themed episodes. And we'll pick the best idea and we'll roll with it.
Even if it means we have to research a scary movie genre.
Yeah, we'll do it. We will do the research.
On an afternoon, sunny day.
With the blinds open.
Yes.
No, I was thinking about that today, and I was like,
that's a good idea.
I think it would work if we got some ideas shot over to us on what we should do for those holiday episodes. And we were kind of having trouble thinking of what exactly we should do for them. So
yeah, I don't want to say we've hit like a roadblock of kind of like what we're doing. I mean, because we still do have like 1,000 episodes, like ideas planned out, but we kind of want to make it a little bit more, specialized. Because I mean, we're thinking of episodes all the time, and it's like, well, how do you do like a Thanksgiving episode? Like, what can we do?
Yeah,
what can we do to talk about that?
Yeah, some examples of even what we've thought for that, like historical movies, like movies about historical happenings.
Historical dramas.
Yeah. Christmas, obviously we could do Christmas movies. We could do Hallmark movies, like just like anything.
If we did Hallmark movies, I would get my mother-in-law on here because we tease her ruthlessly about
My
Hallmark movies.
Hey, my mom watches Hallmark movies all winter.
I'll say this. I walk in, I see it, and the first things out of my mouth are, well, has the guy done the girl wrong yet? And she just like, shut up, Cole, shut up. Ow.
Yeah.
It's hysterical.
I'm not gonna lie, there are some good ones out there. If you ever get sucked in.
See,
you can get sucked in.
We've gotten sucked into some of the Netflix B film Christmas movies that are just, good Lord.
Yeah. Well, that's a
Rough.
Hallmark movie too, right there.
Rough.
That is very, very similar to. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, send those ideas to thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com, and we will pick through them and pick our favorites, and yeah, go from there.
Sounds good.
Colton,
what up? No.
I'm hoping you're prepared to have a question of the podcast for me, because I don't have one.
Have you checked the Call Guys? Have you checked the Call Guys podcast?
Want me to
at gmail.com?
Want me to calculating?
Calculating.
Beep, boop, beep,
I do have one though. I've
You do?
got pretty quick. Yeah.
You do?
This is brought to us by a longtime listener, first time emailer,
okay,
to my phone, via question of the podcast.
Okay.
So this one goes out to my sister.
Oh, right on. Right on.
So she asked if you could go to any past sporting event, what would it be and why?
Any past sporting event?
Yes.
Wow. You got an answer?
Oh, geez. I think I'd go to... I've always said this. The 80s NBA is my favorite era of basketball because of what Larry Bird and Magic Johnson did for the league. And to go back and watch them battle, because I think they won in the 80s. I think they won for that whole decade, all but like two or three championships in that year. It went in between the Celtics and the Lakers. And they have some historical games. And they're kind of tough to pick through that, but I think that's where I would go to. I would go to one of the Lakers-Celtics games in Boston and witness the greatness of those players going at it for that. And that would be mine. That's what I would do. I don't know which one. There's a lot. I would probably pick an NBA Finals game that happened in Boston, that obviously Boston wins, and I'd go from there. But yeah, that's what I would do. I'd go see a Celtics Lakers 80s basketball game.
Well, that's tough for me because it would have to be a Chiefs game of some sort.
Okay.
I don't know that I would go back to Super Bowl 54. But I mean, if I'm time traveling at this point and I can alter time.
Gosh.
I might go back to Super Bowl 1 and fudge the game somehow so the Chiefs win.
You would.
I wouldn't mind going to see Derek Thomas play. Maybe one of his last games before he passed. Yeah. That would be cool. Or maybe even one of Joe's games before he retired.
I thought about that for Walter Payton, going to see Walter Payton's last game.
Yeah. I think any of those would work, but I'm just going to just to do it, Super Bowl 4. I'll go back to Super Bowl 4 and watch us win our first Super Bowl.
Nice.
Or win our second Super Bowl. We lost the first one. And then didn't do it for 50 years. That's a whole different podcast, though. So,
Yeah, that is another one. That's pretty good. I like it. That's a good
which sister sent out that question?
Samantha.
Thank you, Samantha. Thank you for the question of the pod. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Right on. Right on, Colton. Are you ready to get into what we are going to talk about today?
Yes.
Now, I have a disclaimer before we do get into this.
Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy.
I do have a
Tell
disclaimer.
me what it is.
So today's topic is our top 5 favorite actors.
Okay.
Now, here in 5-6 episodes, we are going to do a top 5 favorite actresses. So there are not going to be any women in this list, but we are going to have an extra episode just for the females, the actresses, the ones we love so much to watch. And trust me, I think I'm actually more excited to do the list of actresses than the list of actors.
Ooh.
So because I think it's going to be more unique. Like when you think top actors, you get these 10 names that you always think about. When you think actresses, I'm sure we both have 10 different names that come to mind. We probably have some that'll overlap, but I bet we have some different ones. So yeah, we're gonna do this in official Call Guys style.
Oh yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2. Honorable mentions. 1. Colton,
What up?
do you want to do the deed and go first, or do you want me to go first this time?
I can go first. No big deal. I don't think this guy's on your list.
Okay.
I'd almost guarantee it.
I probably almost believe it. Maybe.
My fifth, and this list, this was hard for me. Hard. Because every time I got going, because what I did was I just put down a couple people and then listed all the movies I could think of off the top of my head. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, well, that guy was also good in that movie. Put his name down, do the same thing. I kept going and going and going. But for this one, what I picked John Wayne.
John Wayne,
back in the old 60s and 70s. All those Westerns I grew up watching. I think it's more of a sentimental pick, but John Wayne, I don't know what it is. Just John Wayne. I love his movies. He kind of reminded me of The Rock before The Rock, with the clause of that he can't, quote unquote, lose a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Because he only dies. He made, I don't know, 100+ movies, and he only dies, I think, 7 of them.
Dang.
And he was, to me, that's who he was. He was always the good guy, the guy who always came out on top. He always got the girl and always did the right thing for the right reasons, no matter who or what was standing in his way.
Not to mention the great time period for movies when he was doing most of his movies.
Oh yeah, it's the golden era of Western.
Yeah,
of
really
Westerns.
is.
I mean, they've been trying to make some Westerns here, not as super recent, but they try to redo it, and they just, to me, they're not good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just my bias because I've seen every stinking John Wayne Western there is.
Mm-hmm.
And they just aren't that good. Kevin Costner made one, Open Range. That was a good one. I thought that was a really, really good attempt. I think that was 2006.
I can't think of the last Western, actual genre-based, like actual Western that actually came out.
The True Grit remake, which is a John Wayne remake.
Yeah. So in college, in one of my film studies classes, my professor was a huge John Wayne fan. So we watched.
Nice.
We didn't watch a lot of John Wayne, but we watched quite a bit of John Wayne. So I definitely,
cool.
Yeah, I definitely have seen some. Just probably, obviously not all of them like you have, but I enjoy some of those old John Wayne movies that, it's not cheesy acting, because at the time it was acting.
Yeah.
And it may seem cheesy now, but that's just the way it was. Like, you didn't have people taking classes and learning how to act, and all that stuff. They were just off the cuff doing their thing.
Yeah. You never saw a bullet go through or in anybody unless it was a close up shot of that actor or
Yeah.
actress.
Yep.
And, yeah, it was man.
Oh, I'm shot.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh, yep. Grab the gut,
Yeah.
slowly fall down, and give that last.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
I mean,
The closed eyes death.
Yep.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
That's good. I probably could have guessed that, but more towards your top 3, I would think. But
I mean, some of my favorite movies. I'll just say a couple: El Dorado, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, Rio Lobo, McClintock, and The Green Berets.
mhm.
And maybe one of my all-time favorite John Wayne movies is The Quiet Man. But and those are all different types of. Not all of those are westerns. The Green Berets is a Vietnam movie, I believe.
Yeah.
And The Quiet Man is when he goes back to home to Ireland, and he's an ex-boxer, and it's all about getting acclimated to the Irish culture and whatnot. And but I think obviously he's known for a Western actor, but a Western movie actor. But
Yeah.
I think it's just because I watched him. It's probably a movie my dad would always pick if it was his turn to pick a movie. Most times,
Yeah.
we'd always watch John Wayne, and I was okay with that, and he was okay with that. So John Wayne is my number 5, and and like I said, man, I'm splitting hairs here. I'm honestly, I'm making up my top 5 as I go. I've got guys written down with movies,
And it might change.
and it might change, but John Wayne movies have a special place in my heart, so that's why it's in my top 5. I'll give him that respect.
So I'm gonna say my list as a whole is a mix of time periods, which I think is gonna be a little interesting. But I'm gonna go with my number 5, old Tom Hanks.
Oh,
I enjoy Tom Hanks movies. Big is in my top 10 movies of all time. It's not on my wall because Sarah could not find a poster for it.
you keep blaming your wonderful wife for that.
I know.
I just want you to know.
She was so upset when she couldn't find the poster for it too. She's like, I got 8 of your 10. I couldn't find Big in the Rocker. And I was like, that's okay.
Oh.
That's okay. But yeah, Tom Hanks, man, he's just such a unique actor, and he's so good, and there's so many movies that are just classics at this point with Tom Hanks, and Big is one of those. Castaway, Forrest Gump, movies that are rewatchable, and movies that could have been honorable mentions, last episode. Obviously, Saving Private Ryan, Green Mile, just super popular movies and super good timepieces that are just classic movies that everybody has seen, everybody has watched. Now, in my research, Colton, I did some awards that all these actors have won.
Oh, nice.
Which I thought was kind of interesting because it from my 5 to my 1, it's like awards, no awards, no awards. So
That's
kind of
awesome.
funny. Tom Hanks has 2 Academy Awards, 4 Golden Globes, and 7 Emmys in his career. So he has a nice list of awards going there, and a lot of those are for some of those big movies that I just mentioned. And I never really watched any of his young days when he was doing
his
stuff.
early days, like Turner and Hooch, and
yeah. Have you watched that remake, the show?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Josh Peck's pretty good in it, but it's not nearly as good as the original.
I agree. The Money Pit. Have you ever seen The Money Pit?
Maybe.
It's where him and I think it's his wife or girlfriend. I'm pretty sure it was his wife. They're newly married, and they buy this big house for dirt cheap. And it's a definition of a money pit, man. Everything that can go wrong goes wrong. So that's actually one of the first, not maybe one of the first, but it's definitely one of the movies my wife picked out when we were dating, probably.
Yeah.
So we watched that one time. And it was actually, it's kind of cheesy and corny, but doing what I do, it's kind of funny to see, oh my gosh, that's not going to go well.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
right on. So yeah, Tom Hanks.
And then I was a little disappointed. Did you mention for Tom Hanks There's no crying in baseball.
Oh yeah, League of Their Own.
I know, and I feel like that's what's gonna happen. This whole list is that we're both gonna be like, well, how do you forget this movie?
Well, yeah, no. Anyway, I kind of did the same way you did, where I just did off the top of my head. Like my number 4, I have 2 movies because I don't think he's in. I mean, he's in other stuff,
Yeah.
just not stuff that I've watched. I just like him in the 2 that I know he's in. So
Okay, fair enough.
So it's I didn't go off of like there's 500 movies I love that this guy's in, but yeah, it's okay. Number 4.
Oh man, my number 4. Oh. I think we're gonna go with Simon Pegg.
That's reasonable for you. Yes.
Yep.
My favorite role. My favorite role.
What's your favorite role?
The new Star Wars movies. I was kidding.
Where he's a voice. Oh man, that's great. I mean, everybody knows by now my love for the Cornetto trilogy. And he was in the newer Mission Impossible movies. I think that's kind of when he started to get that little mainstream where everybody knew him. But then if that didn't do it, he was in Star Trek. And I know a lot of people saw those movies. So a lot of people know who he was. But when he was just a dude from Britain, one of my favorite movies he did before he did the Cornetto trilogy was Run, Fat Boy, Run.
Run, Fat Boy, Run.
It's stupid. It's stupid British comedy, and it's funny. I enjoy it. It's one of my underrated B-film Simon Pegg movies that he's done. And then this is Nick Frost. I honestly think that with Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, those two work so well together that they're better together than they are separate. And I was debating on how do I put Nick Frost in, or do I just keep Simon in? Because I mean, Nick Frost has done some movies, but he hasn't really done anything without Simon Pegg, and that's fine and dandy. But he's done some stuff. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Like I feel like Simon Pegg has been a little bit more active on this side of the pond.
Yeah,
and that's kind of why I went with him. And Paul, you ever see Paul
with the alien?
Yeah, it was Seth Rogen as the
Yeah.
alien. It's so stupid. I don't know why, but that movie just makes me laugh every time. And I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever watched. And you know what I do? I'll watch it again.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Burke and Hare, underrated movie. I felt like where they are early English people getting cadavers for the university so they can work on their medical fields, and turns out they start to speed the process along of getting those bodies. So I mean, and then I think he's done a really good job of transitioning kind of into those side roles, whereas you mentioned Star Wars, I think of Ready Player One, where he wasn't the main guy.
Oh yeah, he was oh my gosh.
Curator.
Yeah, the curator, the quarter guy.
Yep, and the guy at the end of the movie who signed the rights over.
Yeah.
To that. So yeah, I mean, I think he's doing a really good job of transitioning into roles where he's not the main person in the movie.
Yeah, what he gave Parsifal like the main hint to actually win all the keys, right? That was his thing. He was a curator at the library.
Yeah.
And then gave him that was the hint. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So I mean, and that's why Simon Pegg's in my top 5. I don't know if I'm really going to say he's number 4. I'm just going to recognize him as in my top 5.
Right on. So, and then Nick Frost is on the list.
I mean, Nick Frost, I mean, if they're together, I love them together. They've done they were in Truth Seekers on Amazon. I thought that was great. What else have they done together? They did Paul together, obviously the Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah.
Spaced, if everybody has some time, go watch the first season of Spaced, because the second one's not that great, but the first one is gold. Early 2000s TV show. I think it's on, used to be IMDb TV, but I think it's now called like Freeze or something like that.
Freeze TV.
Freeze app. yeah, so if anybody's got time, definitely go check that out. Some classic. It's
Yeah.
Edgar Wright, and
You got Edgar Wright and the boys.
oh yeah, that's a whole other for directors. He's he's gonna get a lot of praise from me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what's your number 4, brother?
My number 4 goes back to last week where I talked about The Dark Knight in my most rewatchable movies, and I'm gonna go with Gary Oldman.
Wow, I did
Yeah.
not see that coming.
Yeah. He has probably done the best portrayal of Detective Gordon that I have seen. I don't think he's second to anybody that's played Gordon. And I don't know if you've never watched Gotham, and the guy in Gotham does a really good job. I don't even know who the actor is, but he does really good. But I think Gary Oldman does a amazing job. And then to go back, a couple episodes ago where we talked about Harry Potter, he was Sirius Black, and Sirius Black was an amazing character in Harry Potter.
Oh yeah,
And I mean, he really played a huge role when it came to what was it, Prisoner of Azkaban on to Deathly Hallows Part 1. Is that when he died, or was it Half Blood Prince? No.
Order to the Phoenix.
Oh, was Order.
As the last battle, they're in the Ministry of Magic.
Okay. Yep.
And
Yep.
Bellatrix Lestrange pops out and Avada Kedavra.
Avada. Yeah, sorry, Sarah just walked in the ground.
I see that.
She just got out of the shower. She's in a robe.
Cool.
Yeah.
For those on YouTube.
Yeah. She doesn't know that you can see her in the reflection.
In the reflection of the. I was like, it's like, who was that? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
It's
Doors
Penny.
closing.
It's Penny.
It's Penny. Okay, so Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, yes. He doesn't have as many awards, not as many major awards as Tom Hanks did, but he does have. He won Best Actor for The Darkest Hour, and for Bram Stoker's Dracula. So he does have some pretty big awards. But yeah, he's just one of those memorable characters, whether it's from, The Dark Knight in Batman Begins, and The Dark Knight Rises, and all of the Harry Potters that he was in.
Not my boy.
Not my boy. Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're going to.
That monologue, the monologue he has at the end of The Dark Knight is good.
Oh, yeah.
He's talking to his son.
Yep. And that whole last scene of The Dark Knight with Harvey Dent where he's trying to save his family's life, and it's just super emotional scene. And I mean, you don't really get that much emotion in Harry Potter with him, I don't feel like, but I feel like he just does a great job. Now when he dies and when he comes back as a Force ghost there at the end.
Force ghost.
So yeah, I like Gary Oldman. It was hard to just like pick an actor and just like go, because I do have quite a few honorable mentions too. So
my honorable mentions is gonna be
yeah. So I was kind of throwing in there and picking the best of the best pretty much. So number 3. Man, I want to know if we're gonna match on any of these.
I mean, I'll be honest. There's a couple that I've kind of not gone into because you've gone into.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, man, this list is so fine. They could all be in there.
Yeah.
I think what I'm gonna go with for my number 3 movie, I think I'm going to go with. I think I'm gonna go with Brad Pitt.
Pitt. You mean wait. I'm trying to think. No. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Mr. Smith?
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were going to go with Mr. Smith or something stupid.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Fight Club is actually one of my favorite movies of all time. I love Fight Club. Fight Club's a great movie. I thought that whole split personality thing, I thought that was done really, really well. And I thought Pitt did a good job. So that's one of my favorite movies. I love him in the Ocean's trilogy. I thought the casting for those 3 Ocean movies was perfect for every role. I loved every character that they had and how they wrote for every character. I thought it was perfect. So I really liked him in that. I don't know if you've seen this, a kind of fallen off cult classic, but have you ever seen the 12 Monkeys?
No.
Oh, great. You need to
12
watch it.
Monkeys.
Watch
Okay.
the 12 Monkeys.
Write it down in my mental notes. 12 Monkeys.
It's a Bruce Willis movie, and I actually think he won. I think Brad Pitt won an award for that movie. So there's an award that we
Hey, you got it.
got. One of my low key, very very underrated good movies that he acted in. So I really like that movie. I thought he was good in Moneyball.
Oh yeah.
Inglourious Bastards.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was good. But I think I remember the 2 movies I remember the most of him. I was on a plane, and I think we were going to Florida. I think we might have been going to Disney, and I watched this movie called Spy Game. And it had Robert Redford and Brad Pitt in it, and they're playing these kind of war games in a hostile territory, and that's one of the first movies I remember watching of Brad Pitt. And then Troy. I don't know if you ever see Troy.
Oh yeah.
Great. One of my favorite opening scenes of a movie is that fight he has with that Goliath, or that bigger guy, because back in those days, that they, instead of wasting each other's armies, because whoever won got the other person's army, they would meet and they would say, hey, send your best fighter out, I'll send my best fighter out, and whoever wins, they win. And he just wakes up out of this tent and it's like, oh, okay. So he gets loose, gets ready, and he just starts this run. And he does the Euro step before the Euro step and just right in the neck one time and walks off. And I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a great scene. That is a great movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Very good. Very good Pitt movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number 3, man. What's
Bradley
yours?
Pitt. Bradley Pitt.
Bradley Pitt.
So on the plane home from Disney, Sarah and I, we watched the movie on the way there. We watched the movie on the way back.
Okay.
On the way back, we watched The Intern. So my number 3, Robert De Niro.
Wow.
Yeah. I watched this movie years ago, and when it first came out, and rewatching it, I just forgot how good that movie was. And it's kind of like The Devil Wears Prada's baby.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, it's really similar. And the only reason I knew it was a great movie is because within the first 2 minutes, Sarah was bawling her eyes out on a plane, and she cried like 10 times during the movie. So
my.
De Niro does a phenomenal job trying to play a hip older guy in that, but not knowing what he's talking about, and having all these young guys working around him. And I always just liked that movie, and I like De Niro as an actor. You got Goodfellas, The Irishman, which I know is a movie that you really enjoy, right? I think we've talked about that before.
I have not seen The Irishman because I'm trying to read the book first.
Oh, okay. I knew we had talked about it at some point.
I heard you paint houses.
I heard you paint houses.
Is the name of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to read that first before I see the movie, because I've got this thing that if I was gonna do one, I would like to read the book first and watch the movie, because usually the movie isn't as good as the book.
Yeah,
in my opinion. So that's one I actually have not watched yet. But yeah, I could probably quote Goodfellas to you right now.
Yeah.
You give me a scene and I could probably go.
Oh, I know you could.
Yeah. What else? What else of De Niro's do you like?
So I did like him in The Joker. I thought he played a really cool, talk show host. Just witty and, being kind of the main antagonist of the film. because of what he did to Joaquin Phoenix's Joker towards the end of the movie, where he caused him to kill him.
He deserved it. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's one of those things that happens. You're like, yeah, he did.
Okay.
One of my favorite De Niro movies, and it's a comedy. Has Morgan Freeman and who played what Hank Pym. Why can't I think of it? Fuel that DeLorean, yell it, tell me through the radio who it is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So okay, so yeah, it's Las Vegas. Have you ever seen Las Vegas?
I have not.
Dude, I love that movie. It is just a bunch of old guys.
I really
having
can't
fun.
stand. I can't stand his new stuff. Like,
I think you would like Las Vegas. I think it's really good.
I think my problem is that I'm gangster De Niro all the live long day.
Yeah.
I like him in Raging
Michael
Bull.
Douglas.
Michael Douglas, yeah.
Yeah. It's just.
I was thinking Wall Street. It's like the dude from Wall Street.
It's just it's a fun movie to watch, and it's like you have all these older guys that have different problems, and they go to Vegas for one last trip together. Douglas is getting married. You know, he's 70 years old. He's getting married, and the guys are going for his wedding. And it's good. It is. It's a good, funny movie. The last one I do have for him is Meet the Fockers, which is kind of, classic cheesy De Niro. And I don't know how classic it is, but
I think that's one of the few times I do like him in like the joking role.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm Taxi Driver. I'm Casino. He's great in that movie. Like, that's the De Niro I know and love.
Well, and I think The Irishman is more on that kind of level of De Niro, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's with Martin Scorsese. So I mean, anything with him and Pesci.
Yeah.
Those three, man, I'm excited. I need to read that book. My problem is that it takes so much motivation for me to read a book, but then once I start it, it's like I just go through it. So I just got to get to that part of that part.
2 Oscars, 2 Golden Globes. That's about all I got from him. I'm sure there's more, whether it's like smaller awards and all that, but yeah, De Niro.
Nice. Great pick. Great pick.
Yeah.
Man, now I got to do my number 2, huh?
Yeah. Does it make you cry?
It actually does.
Oh.
My number 2 makes me cry.
Yeah. Do you rush it?
No, I do not. I do not.
What's your number 2 and why does it make you cry?
My number 2 is Robin Williams.
Oh, it makes me cry too.
I know.
One of my honorable mentions.
Yeah. I just want you to know, everyone you've said, honorable mention for me.
Yeah. We're about to get way off of that, so
that's great.
Maybe
I have an idea who one of your top 2 is, but
really?
An idea.
I think I know who you're gonna say.
But anywho, yeah, Robin Williams is one of my favorite ones. Obviously, we have him in the animated Aladdins growing up as kids.
Mm-hmm.
I remember as children watching Mrs. Doubtfire all the time.
I still can watch Mrs. Doubtfire.
I still can't. I watched it recently, and I'm like, why? This movie is ridiculous. I can't believe my parents let me watch it, but
I'm watching it and I'm liking it.
And I'll probably let my kids watch it when they're little.
Yeah, exactly. I do have two of my favorite Robin Williams movies. Can I say them?
Well, yeah, because I don't think. There might be. Well, I don't know. We'll see. What's your 2?
Good Will Hunting.
Yep.
Jumanji.
Yep, I have those both.
Yeah.
Yep. Those 2. Good Will Hunting. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. Obviously, it's their first 2 movies that it's their first movie that those 2 wrote.
It's a Miramax. Film.
It is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. If you have seen it, watch it again.
Yeah, you know what? I cannot believe that didn't make our honorable mentions for rewatchables. And now that we're saying it, I'm like, even some of the movies I've listed now, like I think like, man,
dude, it's
we're gonna have to
tough.
do a second rewatchables episode.
I don't know if we watched this in school, but I can't remember. But do you remember watching Dead Poet Society?
Mm-mm.
Oh, great early Robin Williams movie. He's a teacher at an all boys school. He does a really, really good job. Oh, Captain, My Captain. If you don't watch it, just go YouTube. Oh, Captain, My Captain, Robin Williams, and that scene is a great scene in a movie. Probably, and to me, it could be a top 15, top 10 scene ever done in cinema.
One of my favorite Robin Williams lines. Good morning, Vietnam.
That was gonna be my next movie.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
Nice.
I've seen Good Morning Vietnam more times than I care to admit. His portrayal. So my grandpa, my dad's dad, was a CB in Vietnam, and a CB is essentially a construction crew that fights.
Yeah.
Okay. So his job was to pretty much make air bases and runways in Vietnam, and he actually remembers listening to this Adrian Cronauer that Robin Williams portrays, and he says that he was just as good as him in that role.
Nice.
So that little history bit is really, really awesome that he did. That the whole radio, it kind of reminds me of a Full Metal Jacket, where the first half of the movie is one thing, and then the second half of the movie just flips to the other side, and it's serious and sad. That's kind of what Good Morning Vietnam does in that movie. And it's got who can you name the young supporting actor that is with him throughout the movie?
I can't. Not off the top of my head.
Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's in it. He looks super, super young.
Nice.
Super, super young. But that I think Good Morning Vietnam might be one of my favorite Robin Williams movies. So one of my favorite. Me and my buddies joke around with it, and he's talking to a guy. He's getting in trouble, and he says, "What does 3 up and 3 down mean to you, sailor?" And he says, "End of an inning, sir."
End of an inning, sir.
And I lose it every time. My dad finds it hilarious.
Yeah.
Our airman. He was an Air Force guy, so he'd been an airman at that point in time. So yeah, Robin Williams is my number 2, and I'm sorry, he does make me cry. Tears of joy and tears of sadness. So so yeah, that is my number 2, sir. How does your number 2 go? Does it make you cry?
Well, you could probably tell me who my number 2 is.
Now I don't feel so confident anymore.
Tell me who it is. Tell me who my number 2 is.
Oh gosh, is it Adam Sandler?
No, it's no.
Oh,
it's Keanu Reeves. And yes, he could make me cry.
I thought you might have been your number 1.
No, my number 1. Actually, I don't think you would be able to guess my number 1.
Okay.
Keanu Reeves, obviously John Wick, Bill and Ted Theodore Logan. And I don't know if you've ever seen Knock Knock.
Sounds scary.
That is a hard movie to watch, but it's really compelling and it's kind of messed up. Like I'll just give you a short synopsis. He's at home alone. His wife's on a business trip.
Done.
2 young girls come knock on his door, and then he lets them in because they're in the rain and all this stuff. Well, they end up pretty much torturing him after they come onto him. And so they torture him, and by the end of the movie, he's buried in the yard with his head sticking out. Dude, it is. I was like, oh, it's Keanu Reeves. I'm gonna watch this movie. And I'm like, what did I just watch? But it was kind of good, to be completely honest. Constantine, The Matrix, Point Break, the Replacements. Sorry, I couldn't come out of my mouth. about said the rewatchables.
The rewatchables.
But obviously Point Break's one of those movies that I could watch over and over again. The Replacements I could watch over and over again. Bill and Ted I could watch over and over again.
No, you have. There's a difference. Can and have are two different words.
I have watched all those movies over and over again. But the thing is about Keanu Reeves, he doesn't have very many major awards. He's got some MTV Movie Awards, some Teen Choice Awards.
I mean, I don't think he's done anything serious enough for the Academy to take him serious. You know what I mean?
Well, I would think that he would have had something big for even the original John Wick. But like,
I don't know. Do they have those categories? They didn't have. Do they have those categories now?
I don't know. But like, he had like sexiest man in an action film or sexiest man in a movie for Point Break, and like it's like this man doesn't have one Oscar or one Golden Globe, but I love him. I love him to death. So yeah, my number 2, Keanu Reeves. I would let you make me cry.
I would let you make me cry. That's great.
All right, hit me with
honorable mentions. All right, man. I have got I've got Tom Hanks, which you talked about. Matt Damon. Love him in the Bourne movies.
I love him as Loki.
Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, I hope he does not ever get a major MCU role.
Oh, me too.
I hope he stays in that role for the end times.
Fake Loki.
And I would actually be okay, not to get, quick sidebar here. I would love for him and that crew of actors to be the new kind of like Stan Lee of the MCU.
Yeah, we talked about
that. Where they are going around and trying to like get gigs, or either they're on a billboard or something like that. I think that'd be hysterical.
That would be hilarious. Since they are now, where's New Asgard at?
Isn't it?
That's
somewhere in 616 universe.
Yeah,
it's on Earth.
On Earth, it's on Earth. Yeah, since it's on Earth, they could travel and do that kind of thing. There could be a Loki the musical on Broadway.
Exactly. Put it up right there with the Rogers musical.
Yeah.
I can do this all day.
That's right.
Mel Gibson, love him in The Patriot.
Yeah.
Payback and Maverick.
Yeah.
Great early movies. Lethal Weapons, obviously. I got Harrison Ford on here.
I almost had him in my honorable mentions. It's like right. He teeters on being one of my favorite actors, and
that's why he's in my honorable mentions, because obviously Star Wars, Indiana Jones. I mean, those two roles are iconic.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the theme song to both. You know that you can do the Emperor's March. Everybody knows Star Wars, and then you can do that dun 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 dun, 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 and everyone's like Indiana Jones. So I had to put him on for that reason. I've got Will Smith on here.
Yeah,
I really like what he did. Men in Black, Bad Boys. Bad Boys is, one of those movies that I watched as a kid that I definitely should not have watched as a child.
Independence Day.
Independence Day. Yep. I Am Legend.
Oh, of course. Yes.
So, I mean, he's done some real, I think he actually just got an award for King Richard.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat that he finally got, The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah, I was trying to think of it. I couldn't think of the name. That was with him and Jaden, right? Him and Jaden.
Yeah. Yep.
Underrated, kind of funny, dumb movie. Hitch. I could watch Hitch.
Everybody. Yep. That's another kind of cult classic.
Yep.
I got Woody Harrelson. White Man Can't Jump.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever seen Natural Born Killers?
Mm-mm.
Man, you need to watch that one in the 12 Monkeys.
Okay, I'll check them out.
I think you'll really enjoy those two movies. He was in Semi Pro 2. He was Ed Monix.
Yeah. Yep. I really enjoyed him in the Hunger Games series.
I was gonna say to me that's his best supporting role
Yeah.
that he's ever done.
And Now You See Me is pretty good too.
Yeah. Diddly Dum Dum, and then I got Hugh Jackman, Van Helsing.
I'm just waiting for you to hit all of mine. That way I don't have to say any of my honorable mentions.
I got Hugh Jackman, Les Mis. Oh gosh,
I got Hugh Jackman, Les Mis, Wolverine.
I got X-Men.
Yeah.
I got The Prestige.
Yeah. Yep.
I think he was fantastic. I love that movie. And The Greatest Showman. I think the movie is terrible, but I think he was one of the few bright spots in that movie.
Yep.
We talked about that in our musical episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last one is Christian Bale.
Okay.
Newsies. We talked about that. Another musical show reference. I loved him in Newsies. Super young, super great. He was in The Prestige. Obviously, he's Batman in the Christopher Nolan series. Like,
yeah.
American Psycho. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's hope. There's hope.
Love that movie. Love that movie. Love the Ice Nine Kills song that goes to it.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. And then Public Enemies.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was great in that. Johnny Depp was great in that.
Yeah.
And one of the other westerns that I thought who's done a good job. This is actually a remake of a movie, but it was 3:10 to Yuma.
I'm trying to think of when I watched that and how long ago it was. When did they I mean, now you got to think that was probably early
2010s, late 2000s, around
probably
that
watched
time.
it in college.
It's good. I thought it's, like I said, they haven't made very good westerns, but I think that's one of the few westerns they have made that was like, oh, I would definitely watch it. I'll watch it again. So yeah, man, those are all of my honorable mentions.
Okay, so let's see. Robin Williams was in your top. He's in my honorable mentions. Good Will Hunting, Jumanji.
Man,
phenomenal actor. Good. Oh my God, Good Will Hunting.
How do you not cry? How do you not cry during the?
I was just about to say that it's so emotional. It is, especially right at the end. And just that was it the park bench scene where they're sitting out on the park.
Yep,
bench?
they're at the park bench in front of the pond.
Yeah, my gosh.
And then I love his last line in that movie. He gets the note from the door.
Yeah,
and he's had to go see about a girl.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Son of a bitch stole my line."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that's classic." But yep.
Rest in peace.
Oh, yeah.
Morgan Freeman, obviously.
Ooh, good one.
Lucius Fox, The Shawshank Redemption, Now You See Me, and then Las Vegas, also with De Niro. RDJ, you didn't mention Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing outside of like the MCU is the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah. The other one I have on here is The Judge. I don't know if you've ever seen The Judge. I really, really enjoyed that movie. For a drama, it was very good.
I think that's probably why I didn't see it. I was not that into it.
Yeah, and his whole redemption story of just his life in general.
Yeah.
And all that. It's one of those things that's inspirational almost. I mean, I'm not sure what kind of guy he actually is. Obviously, we don't know him, but yeah. I do have Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, Les Mis, Heath Ledger, who we've talked about 100 times. Dark Knight, 10 Things I Hate About You, A Knight's Tale.
I was gonna say A Knight's Tale.
And then right before we started recording tonight, Sarah walks in and says, "Is Michael Caine on your list?" And I'm like, I mean, I love Michael Caine. I love him as Alfred. I love him in Now You See Me. Like, I mean, he's a great actor, but he's always played those,
supporting role. I feel like our generation only knows him as a supporting actor.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that because I'm sure he has some good stuff, but I mean, you'd have to go back. I think we talked about it earlier. He's got like 170 some odd actor credits.
174, I think you said, something like that.
I mean, it's a lot. Like I didn't get all the way through, and I was like, man, I haven't heard of half this stuff.
So Michael Caine is up there, and I love The Dark Knight Rises. I cried the moment where Alfred is yelling at Bruce, and he's like, he pretty much is that The Dark Knight where he yells at him and leaves? I think that's
He-
Rises. He pretty much starts crying and he tells Bruce he's leaving. I don't remember if that's Rises or The Dark Knight. I think it's Rises.
Well,
I
I
don't
know in
remember.
the first one they get in a fight
They get in fights all the
because
time.
he says if I
I have
Christian
to
Bale
watch
says
one
something.
more. Yeah.
I would tear down this house brick by brick if I had it my way. And
Yeah.
Alfred comes back with a, "Hey, idiot, don't do that. Like that'd be
Yeah.
dumb."
Yeah. But then the moment it was Rises when he's crying and it's like, oh man, Alfred, don't cry. But then he gets to see that Bruce is happy with Anne Hathaway's character.
Oh yeah, that
When
was the
she-
last one. That
and
was the last one. Yeah.
at the end of it, and
Yeah.
he leaves to go away, and yeah, um, that's all I got for honorable mentions.
Nice.
So
Nice. Solid. I don't think you mentioned my first one though.
you definitely didn't mention my first one.
Oh.
So who is it?
My number one, Russell Crowe.
Fat Russell Crowe?
Oh heck no! Oh no! Not Fat Russell Crowe at all. A Beautiful Mind.
Mhm.
I believe he won some awards for that. That was a great movie. He was in 3:10 to Yuma. He was the bad guy that Christian Bale was trying to get away from, or trying to chase down to get him onto this train to Yuma to go to jail. Is kind of the premise of that movie. I thought those two did really good job. Master and Commander.
Trying to think if I've
I
ever
think it's
seen it.
late 1800s, time based. He's a captain of a British fleet ship, and they're going out and exploring essentially, and really good movie.
Right on.
The Aubrey is what he captains. The Quick and the Dead. Have you seen that one?
No, The Quick and the Dead.
Yeah, I think it's an early 90s movie where they go to this town, and Gene Hackman is the mayor of this city, and he holds this quick draw tournament, and like every day at noon or every hour on the hour during this tournament there's a quick draw, and obviously if you lose, you die.
Yeah.
Super young Leo DiCaprio in it, and I can't remember the lady's name. Gosh, I can't remember, but Gene Hackman's the bad guy in it. I got Cinderella Man.
Okay. I've seen
I thought
Cinderella Man.
him and Renee Zellweger, I thought they did well together. And I'll be honest, I'm not a big Renee Zellweger fan.
Yeah.
Her voice just kills me a lot of the times, but I love her in Cinderella Man and Chicago. And my last one, I think, man, he was fantastic in Les Mis. I just his whole character story and arc is fantastic in that movie. But I think my favorite role is Gladiator.
Javert.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah.
Is this not why you're here?
Gladiator is a phenomenal movie. Les Mis is a phenomenal movie.
I just, man, talk about movies that just the range of A Beautiful Mind, Gladiator, Les Mis,
Fat Russell Crowe.
No, we're not.
Zeus.
We're not bringing up that. We are, refraining from that terrible decision.
Yeah,
that was made.
The cast, like we've mentioned, the casting itself wasn't bad. The way they wrote the character was terrible. Okay, continue.
But yeah, that's why Russell Crowe is my number one.
Yeah,
those movies that I just grew up with, and it just seemed like he had so many good movies growing up.
Nice.
So what is your number one, sir?
My number one, we're gonna kick it back. Kick it back to some James Jimmy Stewart.
Wow.
I love all of his their classics, all those old movies that he did. Three of my favorites, because I love almost all of them. Vertigo. I don't know if you've ever seen Vertigo. Very, very good movie. Rear Window, which you've never seen Rear Window. Oh,
Nope.
have you seen Disturbia
The
with
Shia LaBeouf
Shia
movie?
LaBeouf?
Yeah.
Very similar concept of a movie.
Okay.
His character, I cannot think of what his character's name is in the movie right now, is in a wheelchair. He's gotten hurt and he's stuck in his apartment and he witnesses a murder at his neighbors, and he lives in kind of like a complex where there's like a balcony that goes out and you can see across, and there's like 4 buildings in a square. So he witnesses this murder and he's got binoculars and he sits there and he watches and waits and kind of does some research, just people watches. It's a very, very good movie. And then the movie I watch once a year at Christmas, It's a Wonderful Life, which I'm
Die
not going to
Hard.
say is one of the it's not one of the greatest movies ever, but it is something that is a tradition to me, and loving Jimmy Stewart it makes it easier for me to watch that movie once a year. Plus, like the story behind It's a Wonderful Life is amazing. And the story behind Jimmy Stewart around that time period, this was just after he got back from the war, suffering from crazy amounts of PTSD. And they said, and I don't remember if this where I watched an interview and a documentary about it, but he was suffering so much that a lot of the stuff where, like towards the end of the movie, where he's kind of going crazy and he's running through the house and he's holding Lulu by her, like kind of just shaking her and all that stuff. They said that was just real emotion at that point.
Oh,
Like, he was kind of just going nuts a little bit. And it takes a lot to be able to do a job when you're going through all that, but he still did it and he was still there to do it. I think he was an airman for a while. I think he was in the army for a while also. I don't know exactly what all, but he has a lot of military honor on top of awards for movies. He has an Academy Award, a Golden Globe, and a Lifetime Achievement Award. So, I mean, or had. But
Yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah, love Jimmy Stewart.
He was in a John Wayne movie.
Yeah, that does not surprise me at all.
Think
about that time period. Yeah,
that's one of my favorite. That's a top 5 black and white movie for me.
Yeah,
The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
Yeah,
it's also a movie where John Wayne dies in, but you don't see it.
You don't see it, so maybe it didn't happen.
Well, it's a weird. It's like a
weird cut.
It's a flashback movie.
Okay.
These people are on a train to go to somewhere. They flash back to when he lived in this town and what went down. Fast forward, they're old, and it's John Wayne's funeral they're going to.
Oh.
But the movie is essentially a huge flashback.
Right on.
So
big flashback.
Mm-hmm. It's great. It's a good movie.
Nice. Well, good list, Colton.
Yeah, man, I liked your list. I thought we both had good lists.
Yeah, I would love to hear everybody else's list.
Yeah,
you know what to do if you want to send us your list for your top 5 favorite actors. Here in a few weeks, we'll do your top 5 favorite actresses. You can send those lists to thecallguyspodcast at gmail.com. And speaking of, the Emperor had sent us an email.
What?
He did. He sent
We're
us
in trouble.
He sent us his top 5 most rewatchable movies.
And
I just want to read them off for the listeners here.
Call guy style?
Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2. No honorable mentions. 1.
Boo.
He's got Armageddon.
Okay.
Rockstar.
Yeah.
We Are Your Friends. My dad being a DJ. It is a Zac Efron movie where he is a DJ at a club and parties. It's a really good movie. Begin Again, Mark Ruffalo, Keira Knightley.
Sounds familiar.
Adam Levine.
Oh.
Yeah, also a very good movie. Yeah, there's a song at our wedding, Lost Stars, my dad played for us. It's one of my favorite songs from the movie. And then his number 1 is The Rocker, which I love that movie also. So Good list, Emperor.
Good list, Emperor. I appreciate your feedback, and glad we were able to break it down and reminisce.
So everybody out there, if you are a avid Call Guys listener or you're new to listening to the Call Guys, if you go back and you listen to any of our episodes, and while you're listening and you're playing along with us and making your own list as we're reading off ours and talking about what we talk about, go ahead and write those down, type them out, send them to the thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com. We will read them off and let the world know what your top 5 rewatchable movies are, your top 5 actors, your top 3 bands, top 5 sports movies, top 10 Marvel movies. There's a list, man. You guys can do any of the above. Colton's over here killing bugs, I think, or something.
Yep. Got it.
Got it. You got the bug. So yes, send those emails to the thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com.
Who?
Next week's episode, I will be talking about our trip to Disney.
Yes, I'm excited.
Like I said, we've got some fun stuff coming up with some interviews, maybe some special guests. We'll just see what happens. We take it week by week here, and we just have fun, and we like to do what we do.
That's right.
Colton, you have anything else you want to add on your top 5 favorite actors?
I know I missed some.
I
missed a lot.
100%.
So,
Me too.
Obviously, I'd love to hear the feedback. Pretty much, not necessarily. This isn't really a argumentative episode. It's just more of a, who's your top 5? So I'd kind of like to hear if anybody had any disagreements or just who was your favorite and why they were your favorite, or did we miss a movie that we should have said? So
yeah,
the feedback, I just love to hear the feedback.
Yeah,
good, bad, it doesn't matter to me. So
if you want to take our list and you, like Colton said, you want to add movies to those lists, and let us know. If we haven't seen them, maybe we'll go watch them and we'll come back here and say, hey, we watched it and we really liked it, or it was so yeah,
man. Other than that, man, I love you, brother.
Yeah, good job. Love you too. Everybody, thank you for listening to the Call Guys podcast. You can get us wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts. You can also check us out on YouTube. We record every episode with our cameras. So if you ever want to see our backgrounds, I have added some new things. Colton and I got our fancy new hats on. Yeah, that's right. If you check out my background now, it has changed a little bit. I got Miss Minutes sitting there staring at me over my shoulder. I got my Disney lightsaber. Give me 1 second, Colton. Talk to the viewers.
Oh yeah, this lightsaber is one of the reasons why I want to go to Disney, and I'm glad it's there now. But I'm telling you, this is the real reason why I want to go to Disney. Not to take my kids, not to give them memories, to give me a lightsaber.
Yep. I don't blame you. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and
it's great.
I think I enjoyed getting like I couldn't find a pair of ears that I really liked. Right? I went all around. They had slinky ears. They had Ewok ears. The only ones that I really, really liked and saw that fit kind of my style, Captain America shield.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right.
Yeah, it worked. It was nice. So yeah, look at that lightsaber glowing back there. It's like a nice.
Dude, it looks amazing.
Yes, you can check us out on YouTube. Check out our backgrounds. Just go to YouTube, search the Call Guys podcast. It is usually posted in the podcast notes also, so you can just click the link and go that way. You can also find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/thecallguyspod, Instagram @thecallguys, and TikTok @thecallguyspodcast. I've kind of fallen behind on posting videos, but one of these days I'll edit like 75 of them at one time and just start posting random. So yeah. And like I said before, send us any recommendations for the Questions podcast. Send us your top 3s, top 5s, top 10s, whatever you want to send us. Recommendations for future episodes, anything, thecallguyspodcast @gmail.com. And then check out our merch store. Like I said in all of our episodes. We do have shirts on there. We do have, tank tops, leggings, pretty much about anything you want besides hats. I cannot get that website to let me embroider a hat for some reason. So I make these myself, and I really, really like the way they look. So that is the thecallguyspodcaststore.com. Go check that out. And then while you're checking out podcasts and you get finished with the new episode of the Call Guys podcast every week, you can always go check out all of the other podcasts under the Emperor's umbrella, whether that be the Golden Image podcast, where the Skywalker, Golden Jay, and myself talk about what you can do in Indiana on your weekend off, on vacation. If you just want to go do something, you can listen to us talk about it. That way you know whether or not it might be something you want to do or not. So check that out. Golden Image Podcast, facebook.com/Golden Image Podcast. Also check out the Murdnerds podcast at facebook.com/Murdnerds. They are a true crime podcast that is now all over the United States, all over the world. I don't even know. They cover true crime and missing persons cases wherever, whenever, however. And those girls are hilarious sometimes to listen to. So go check them out. Facebook.com/Murdnerds. And the United States Paranormal Podcast, which is Team Tejas and Team Boogers. They talk about all things cryptid, creepy, and paranormal all around the world. And they do an episode occasionally called a Chiller Filler.
The Chiller Filler, dude.
Which is pretty much a Call Guys episode.
It's pretty much them either critiquing us or going after us or just them doing their own thing.
Yeah.
I actually liked the last conversation they had.
It was amazing. I love that whole.
I don't know if mainly because it was a Call Guys episode style or it was just, listening to Skylar spout about nonsense and what he thinks he knows about stuff. So.
Oh my gosh.
I love you, Skylar.
That it was awesome to hear that they did that together while they were in Dallas for their trip to go see Flickerstick. So
yeah,
it was exciting to actually finally get to hear it. It's been about a month ago that they went. So I was excited for them. They had fun. So that was really cool. And then finally, while you're at it, go check out the Indiana Chiefs Fans podcast. That is the Chief, Golden Jay, and myself, where we talk about our favorite team, the Kansas City Chiefs, whether it be the preseason, which is starting or has now started, and pretty much anything that's going to happen during the season. We talk about the stadium, we talk about players, we talk about what's going on in the moment. So yeah, go check it out. Facebook.com/IN Chiefs Fans Pod. Colton?
Yes, sir.
You got anything you want to add? No.
Never. No, man. You do a great job, man. You do an awesome job, and I can't say it enough how great of a job you actually do. So
well, I've become the guy that does all of the socials and plugs at the end of every podcast I'm on now. So I get to do it 2 times a week, and then every 4th week I get to do it 3 times a week. So
well, you know what? Someone needs to change that then for you.
One of these days, I made Skylar do it for a golden.
I heard. Yeah.
Was that today's?
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's good to get.
He threw some nice jabs at me. So
Yeah.
I always appreciate that. So
hey, that's what it's all about.
Oh yeah.
It's all about.
I'm excited. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but when we finally decide to have the Skywalker on.
Oh, he will be on, and I'm thinking historical movies about historical or with a historical background.
Oh, I don't know if that'd be a good one for him to be on.
Oh, he was a big history buff back in the day.
Well, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that we just need to sit down and I feel like he's got like a laundry list of stuff that he just wants to fight me over.
All right.
And
well, you're calling him out.
I did hear something about anime, and I was like, I know nothing.
Yeah. Well,
your brother, he asked you, he's like, does Cole know anything about anime? And you're like, he knows nothing. I was like, you're right.
we're gonna get the boxing ring out.
So yeah, if we gotta break out the gloves, we gotta break out the gloves. So I think I'm tired of listen to his little self talk so big and tough. About time he gets a step stool and gets on my level. So
Hey, we're all short. All of us Goldens are short.
yeah, you are.
All right, everybody. I want to thank you for listening to the Call Guys podcast.
After my ego's bruised.
We'll see you next time.
Oh my god. Oh, that was great.
Yeah.